Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to our board meeting. Our Calexico Unified School District Board meeting. Today is Thursday, September 27th. It is 2012. It is 6:09, and we will start the meeting. Janet, can you call order?
Trustees present tonight are Valenzuela, Duarte, and Aguilar, with Trustee Romo and Kim absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Ms. Aguilar, can you lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance?
All rise. Hand over heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam President, before we move on to approval of agenda, I have some sad news to report. Former board member Jimmy Duron and employees Freddie, Mercy Duron, and Yolanda Duron lost their father, and if I'd like to ask that we have a moment of silence for our employees' parent.
Everybody, please rise. Take a moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. Duron worked for us for a long time, huh? I mean, for the district.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You ready? Okay. Okay, item C, approval of agenda. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second. I have a discussion.
Okay, I have motion made by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. Mr. Ken, discussion.
I submit the agenda to put in the agenda today as the board members. They should not be hired 6 years and 1 month. I sent the email to the Miss Burgos. I don't know what happens, not in there.
Ms. Burgos, when did you receive the email?
I received an email Friday afternoon from Trustee Kim.
Okay, we had just gone over the agenda and said
We had reviewed agenda Thursday.
Thank you.
Oh, we had a Monday still.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Well, that's what she asked me about the sentence, but I've been approved. I've been requested the last board meeting, and I don't know. The district doesn't know how to make the sentence. They asked me to make the sentence. That's why I make the sentence.
Well, Mr. Kim,
Yes.
the law does allow for employees or anybody to apply for any position at any time. Even if the employee is terminated, they can apply to that same agency or firm or anywhere within 6 months after termination.
No,
So-
that's not necessary to be by the law.
But
For
if-
example,
if
city has 5 years.
and that is fine. That is
Okay.
their policy. So next board meeting, we'll make sure we put it on the agenda for first reading,
And I don't know why they're not putting it this time.
because we had already gone over the agenda.
Well, they still have time. I already.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Why having trouble to make the sentence over there? That I already told the last meeting.
Okay, Mr. Kim, we are trying to approve the agenda. I call
That's
for
what
the
I'm saying.
question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye. Nope.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1.
3.
Or 4-3, I'm sorry. Stand corrected.
3-1. 3-1.
Stand correct. Okay. Item D, comments from the public regarding closed session items only. No? Okay. Okay, we have no items for closed session. We will now go into closed session. Item number 1 will be public employee appointments, Government Code 54957. All positions including certificated and classified employment reports, all administrative positions related to the recent resignation by superintendent, and public employee dismissal, discipline dismissal release, Government Code 54957. We'll now go into closed session. We will be back in and out. Save the money. Okay, we are reconvening from closed session. There is no items to report at this time. We will be going back after the board meeting. We will be going back into closed session. Okay. Yes, Ms. Ambris, or Superintendent's reports. Ms. Ambris?
Good evening. In regards to our class overages at the elementary level, we do have a couple of overages in a few classes at every site, or in most sites, but they're very limited. What we have done is we have balanced as best we can at the elementary. We do have some combo classes at every school site. We also have we did transfer some students between schools. We have some kids who were moved from Jefferson to Rockwood and Dual, for example, to finish balancing out I believe it was the 4th grade overages. And we also had some significant overages, I believe, at Main School, and I think that they've either completed or are still in the process of finalizing their transfers to Blanche Charles. So we do have, we are attempting to reduce those overages in the elementary level. In terms of the 7-12, most classes at the junior highs, I believe there are no overages at Enrique Camarena. We do know that there are some overages at Willie Moreno. Again, we're still attempting to reduce them as best as possible. We do have some overages at Calexico High School, in some areas more significant than others. I think right now our AP English 11 is very high. We still have about 42 students in that classroom. In one of Ms. Wright-Smith's periods, I know that we have overages in the AP Biology, and across the board we have 2 to 4 overages in the different subject areas. Spanish is also one subject area that is severely impacted, and we have a significant number of overages in the Spanish 4. And also in the ELD 1, we have a significant number of overages at Calexico High School. In terms of substitutes, we have attempted to eliminate as many of the ongoing substitutes that are covering teaching positions. And some of them are on the employment report, just so you know. And then our enrollment right now, district-wide, we are at 9220 as of 9/26.
Is that an increase or a decrease to last year's same day?
It's same day last year. It's a slight increase.
Slight increase.
Mhm.
Good to hear.
How many?
I don't know exactly. I want to say about 10, but I'll double check that.
How many students enrollment right now?
9,220.
Okay, I'd like to have the list of all the schools, the class by class, the numbers, how many there. And I believe you have some report. And the other one is I already expressed to you about looking into the main and Rockwood Kia program again, because we only can save about $150,000, $200,000 only Right now we're suffering the thousand kids over there. So I want to Ms. Ambris to look into the numbers closely. Actually, we're not saving much money instead of the 1,000 kids being suffering there.
Okay, Mr. Kim, can you save your comments for later? These are the superintendent's comments. We need to move to the next
Yes,
item.
but it was a class size. I just requesting them to look into it.
Okay.
Okay. Item
And
eight-
also the substitute report, substitute updates. How many sub class right now we have?
Right now, I believe we may still have maybe one substitute at the high school. I don't believe we have any substitutes at the elementary. And at the junior high, there may be one sub at Willie Moreno.
Yeah, because I have some complaint from the community members or sub teachers saying the school calling same person only. So actually, the other sub teachers they don't get the call. And I explained them to be supposed to go continuously to benefit of the children, but probably next term they might have to call someone else to do the sub teachers.
Moving on to item H, business presentation, digital presentation by Chuck Fruth.
Is it Fruth or Fruth?
Fruth. Thank you. Thank you. I saw my name on there.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me in the presentation. As for my last name, it's a tough one to pronounce, but you actually pronounced it correctly. So there you go. There you go. I always tell people it's Ruth with an F in front of it. So I want to tell you a little bit about us and our company. We digital. We came here today to talk to you a little bit about what we do in the district and how we want to help the district moving forward. A little history about us, and I'm gonna actually move along here pretty quickly because I only have 5 minutes, and I know that you have significant items on the agenda. So I'll move along fairly quickly on this. As for the company overview, we're going to pass through that. The benefits of a proposed solution, we'll move on to that. I want to move to the company history, who we are, what we do for the district, and how we can help. We've been a part of Calexico for 12 years. I have owned the business for 12 years, and the gentlemen that are sitting over here are part of the business in Imperial County. We think we are successful, and we've done a very, very good job of taking care of the district because we are a local business. Our employees live here in the county. We have 2 of our families that go to school here in Calexico, and we are the primary vendor for you for your office equipment, for your copiers, and we are your sole vendor for your printers. We want to talk a little bit about how we arrived here and how we arrived at being the primary vendor for your copiers. We do a very, very good job in the bidding process. We have a significant service commitment to the school district. Most of the people that I've walked through here today and had the opportunity to speak to some of the people from the district and teachers, most people know Ray. He's a full-time employee of ours, but he's in your district serving you. We have 3 backup technicians. We have sales and administration right here. We do not operate our business out of San Diego or Los Angeles. We operate our business out of Imperial County. Our tax dollars stay here. Our kids go to school here. This is where the business is run out of. We have several other school districts that we are in: Holtville, Heber, El Centro, Calipatria, the Imperial Office of Education, and of course Calexico. I'd like you to flip the page. I'm going quickly because I see that I have 5 minutes on the agenda, and I know you're very, very busy, so I want to make sure that you understand what I'm here for today. These are the items in question are the copy machines. They're called MFPs, but they're the copy machines. The next page, it says current copier fleet inside the district. you have 70 units today. The agenda, after meeting with the business managers, and I did have an opportunity to briefly meet, I believe it's Ms. Donaldson now. It was Miss Randall. Ms. Burgos helped me with that, so I look really smart today. So we had a brief opportunity to meet. We have been initiating cost cut measures throughout the district for about the last 3 years when the crisis came. We've been a part of the things that have happened in the district all the way throughout. When the earthquakes hit here, and it was a travesty, everyone they asked the vendors to help. One vendor came and helped you with your copiers. We delivered them for you free of charge. We put them because you could not access the schools. We have helped in many, many ways. So I want to kind of show you what our game plan is. There was a presentation here, the last board meeting, about writing a new lease. You own copy machines that are networked copiers already today. You have significantly taken down your maintenance numbers. Today I'm going to show you how we can reduce that 20% throughout the district and consolidate, so it'll make the billing easy, and it will make the servicing of the district really seamless. Okay. Today you have 70 units. 76% of them, or 53 of the units, are Canon units from digital. We bid those units. We won those in contract bids throughout. There are 3 other vendors that have a small portion of the business. To date, the maintenance contracts that you are paying are on the main contract, which is the digital contract. We are proposing that we will take and consolidate units throughout the district from the district office and from the schools themselves. And Ray has done a nice study to walk through. He's in your schools all day, 8 to 5. We know exactly where we can save money. We know exactly where we can consolidate. We know exactly where we can conserve cash. We're not asking you to lease anything. We're not asking you to change what you're doing in terms of the efficiencies. We're asking to get rid of the redundancy and lower your overall expenses. Now, when you look at 3 years ago, we were called into the business manager's office, and they said, Chuck, we can't lease anything. Okay, we have 3 very, very large leases that we need you to redo, but after that, we have nothing else that we can lease. We don't have the money. So we sat down and looked at how we could handle this. Since then, if you flip the page, we've reduced the leases. We've given the district 7 copy machines. Those copy machines would lease, I think we figured annually for about $19,000. We gave them free of charge to the district. That was our offering. I have gone back to Canon, our manufacturer, to say that the primary vendor here is Canon in this district. It needs help. It needs cash flow. It needs we need to reduce the overall monthly expenses, which we are going to do. We also initiated in the last 3 years, we initiated the managed print service contract. You did the study. Your business manager did the study. We saved $137,000 a year from what you were spending buying cartridges. Okay, I know that's not up on the agenda today, but it's another initiative that we did with you. You have 16 of your copy machines of the 53 that we don't charge maintenance on. They operate for free inside the managed print contract, okay, which is an all-you-can-eat contract. There is no minimum. Your copy contract with us has no minimum. So if you decide to print more, you can. Okay? Doesn't cost you any more. I had an opportunity to speak to Ms. Donaldson very briefly about this. We looked at the spreadsheet. I have redone it. I have I've actually even enhanced it to show you what we can do. If you turn the page, the last board meeting, and I watched the video, a gentleman came up and said that, you're spending about $18,000 a month on your service and supplies and your leases. Well, you're spending about low $16,000 a month. But with his 18, he was going to save you $659 a month. In essence, that plan would put you over the next 2 semesters about $94,000 in the red. Okay, and you'll see it from the next sheets. I'm going to kind of go a little faster because I know I'm using up my time. If you look at the comparison on the next sheet of the 2012 finishing this semester, the next 2 semesters, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I don't expect everyone to be able to read all of this today, but when you look at it and look at where we are, what we're suggesting is that we would take the 17 units, and a few of these are not even in use. We would take the 17 units that you spend $18,000 a year on maintenance, which you have not paid this year because you don't have it in the budget. I will replace the units that need to be replaced inside that contract at our expense. And I will service it for the price that I'm servicing the other 53 units. So I will decrease my maintenance price by about $5,900, and I'll show you that. And I will decrease your maintenance that you have today by another $18,000 on maintenance on copiers. So that's a $25,000 savings right there. I will supply the machines if any additional machines are needed without leasing. It is my opinion that this district does not need a lease. You have copy machines. They network print. If we would like to take an initiative to have more of them print, that's more of the infrastructure and IT, getting it in the schools. You have plenty of network printing machines today. You don't need to buy new and spend more money. Okay? If you look at the bottom of the sheet on the spreadsheet, just look at the very bottom. There are machines coming up. And you can see there's 3 at the end of this fiscal, 1 this month. It's already coming off. I'm going to supply those machines to the district, free. 5 machines in the January through June semester. I'm going to supply those machines free to the district. So you will not sign another lease all the way through 2014. Okay? And my overall service will drop roughly $25,000 every year for the same amount of copies. Okay? So I know it's a lot in 5 minutes, and I'll be more than happy to sit down with the superintendent and sit down with the assistant superintendent and go through and show you line by line where you are. Now, you have paid me for the first quarter, and you have paid me about 80 days behind, and that's fine. We want to help. We know cash flow is huge. So I don't have any problem giving a credit back on the first quarter as well, and discounts. So when Donaldson and I met, they said we need help. I said I'll give a 5% discount on your printing and on your copying today, which I already have, and those two total about $12,000. And with the machines, if you look at go to the very last page, and I'll hurry up here. I apologize. But if you go to the last page, you have 7 units that we have installed since the meeting with the business manager 3 years ago. If you lease those, you'd have another $19,800 annually that you'd be spending. It's on the summary page. We looked at 3 leases on about 5 or 7 machines. I don't know, Ray, there's 5 or 7 machines in total with the 6 machines in total. Just those 6 machines that we changed those units out at Willie Moreno High School, we had $9,000 annually. $750 we saved on those contracts. $1,000 at the high school and on another unit, and then at the district office we saved $500 a month or $6,000 a year. Just those 3 contracts saved you over a 5-year period $135,000. Those are just 3 of them. Now, we're in the community. We don't hire anybody to do it. The people that are sitting here and sitting in the rows are the ones that take care of this. That is their jobs. That's what they do, and they take care of it. I will make a substantial, with my manufacturer, substantial reduction in maintenance fees. I'm not asking you to sign a single lease, and I will give you the machines. I know you need it. Okay, we do it through school districts throughout right now. Times are tough. We want to do it. Okay, we've always stepped up. So the district, when you sit down and look at it, and look at the asset replacements is the last one. You look down, the asset replacements over the machines 3 this semester or this quarter to the end, then 5, and then 1 would total about $16,000 outlay. That'll be paid by us. So I only had 5 minutes. I know I said a lot, and I know it was very, very quick, But I promise you that by the time you get done, just in 2 semesters, I will save you more money than you can possibly imagine, and I will put it in detail and sit down with your business managers and go through it. But we are committed, a local group, and we understand the cash flow issue. Okay, we have never turned off supplies or service to Calexico. Sometimes we're paid 3 months later. But you know what? In 12 years, you've never failed us, and we've never failed you. So I apologize for running so long. But I would love the opportunity just to continue to be your servicing vendor. The goals were to consolidate to one vendor. I'm already 100% of the printing vendor. I'm 76% of the copier vendor. And I'm the one stepping up with free units and reduction in service. 20% reduction in service. That's a big number. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fruth, and thank you for being patient with your payments.
Ruth, before you go forward, is there anybody who needs the translation services? ¿Hay alguien en el cuarto que ocupa los servicios de traducción?
No. That's okay. Well, we will be looking into this and let's see. Okay, thank you, Mr. Fruth. Item number I, comments from the public. Maria, can you read the?
Okay. For persons wishing to address the board, all persons are encouraged to attend and participate in meetings of the Calexico Unified School District Board of Trustees. Please fill out the form available at the door and submit to the secretary, the superintendent, prior to the meeting. Your comments will be heard with no action taken under the designated section of this agenda. For all presentations, the presenter will limit his or her presentation to 5 minutes. Public comments will be limited to 10 minutes total, and each board member will limit his or her comments to 3 minutes. Each presentation, including public and board member comments, shall not exceed 20 minutes. For the record, state your name, title, whom you represent, and the agenda item you are addressing. You're not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade any individual's personal privacy. The district will not respond to your comments at this time. Your questions, concerns, and or input will be referred to the appropriate department.
Thank you, Ms. Ambris. Our first speaker is Masen Alasari.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm requesting from the board to consider having a closed campus at the high school to control activities, education and safety of our students. I'm asking the board to change also the food that is served to the students to a healthy choice. Our students need healthy food. In order to grow, think, and achieve excellent education, I'm asking also the board to enforce accountability on all student teachers, counselors, and staff. We need to fix the problem of a student early in school year, which is then to wait at the end, too late. So a student that is falling behind, we need to have a meeting right away trying to help him or to help the student, motivate him and support. This is requiring parent, student, teachers, counselors, and administrators. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Mohammed Asiad. Dr. Mohammed Asiad.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. board members. Tonight, I have a good news. I have requested from the Department of Education, Washington, D.C., to award and honor our great teacher, Ms. Durazo. And I'm happy that tomorrow Congressman Fellner is going to present the award to Ms. Durazo. And everybody knows Ms. Durazo have given a lot of her life in this community for teaching. So I'm requesting from our board members as well to give her something to raise her, I think, spirit, and it would be really needed. She is recuperating now from surgeries, and she is, we need our prayers and, support to a member of our community. So this is something I think we should be proud. Staff working hard, I think they deserve some kind of attention and reward. The second things I want to bring it up is I would like to give the board a copy of what I have done. Maybe it can be put in more appropriate on the overhead letters of the board. And I have asked, as I mentioned in the last meeting, for 130 computer, and I'm happy to receive 50 computer from these companies. It will be more appropriate if we can address them on the board or in the district over, the letter overhead. So if it's okay, if I can give it to the... The second issue or the third issue, I have a big issue here to bring it up to the board as well as to the community. We have a new killer candies on the market for our kids and our students, and this candy, it's drugs, and there's a lot of people are pushing this, and it's very deadly. And we lost a few kids, 17, 18 years, from using this drug. And it causes kidney failure, high blood pressure, and death right away within 24 hours. I like the Unified School District to put it on the website so all parents can really have access to this, and the kids who ever try or trying maybe to smoke marijuana or to use this powder, to be aware it's a killer. It's not something they should be... Can I just continue?
Go ahead.
So this is more safety, and I think it should be given attention by the community and the board. And I think we should work with the police department and the school more closely with the drug agency to have some kind of more safety activity on our schools, and to prevent these guys from pushing these drugs on our children. The last things I think it's a more educational and prevention is to have more trips for our kids. Maybe we can do fundraising and take them in the school buses to the hospitals, to some of the businesses, even factories, and even to the jail. And I think this is a very preventive method from getting our kids in trouble, and at least having an idea for them early. I know the time is very hard to take them to San Diego and to some areas, but at least locally, we have many areas that we can take them to. We have good hospitals, we have good court, house, and we have factories, and as well as, jails. I think this will prevent the kids when they go and see the things, they will be more aware that not to be criminals and to go to some wrongdoing.
Okay.
Just one thing. I think Mr. Al-Azhari here mentioned, we need to provide our students with alternative opportunities. This is a school, and a school is to give, not to, put the students like in a jail. they need to excel, succeed and excel. So let's give them more chances and provide them with a better environment. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Asiat. Chrissy Acosta? Costa, I'm sorry. Costa. This is ACE. Okay. So you want to do the public comments? You want to do
together? I don't know.
public
That's
comments?
yes. But I had two. They were both ACEs, but one for the program, one for district coordinator. I don't know if you want me to do it. Let's talk about it at the
They're
same
two
time.
separate things. You can't combine them.
I can. That's why I'm asking you. But I listed them as two separate. Okay.
You can go into the other one.
Okay. Good evening, board members, Ms. Ambriz, and community. My name is Cristina Costa. I'm currently working as a substitute teacher here in the Calexico Unified School District, and I am also a parent of two daughters who attend Cesar Chavez Elementary. I'm here tonight to share, first of all, my concern regarding the ACES program, not only as a parent, but as a person who was actually the ACES district coordinator for the past 2 years. It is my opinion that the ACES program is not considered a priority, and this is a reason why I believe this to be true. For the past 2 years, and now including this current school year, there is no permanent ACES district coordinator in place from the beginning of the school year. And currently there is a substitute ACES district coordinator in place. Why is this a concern for me? Not having a knowledgeable district coordinator leads to the following: disorganization. Disorganization of the ACES program then leads to an ACES program that is not ready to be implemented as it should be from the first day of school, which then leads to attendance issues. And of course, if we don't meet the attendance issues in the ACES program, it leads to the reduction in funding, which has already had an impact on the ACES grant here in Calexico, going from $1.6 million to $1.1 million. With that being said, let me share with you, the board, why the ACES program should be a high priority for you and for all the community and that's involved and has their students as part of the ACES program. First, the program is here to serve between 946 and 1,040 students in our school district. Not 2, not 3, not 20, up to 1,040 students. It's also there to support our parents. So that's up to 1,040 parents and families that are counting on the ACES program to keep their children safe while parents have to be at work. That's the most important reason why it should be a priority. We want to keep our kids safe, and we're servicing a lot of students. Second, this grant is not chump change, or I don't know if that's even the correct saying, but it's not just $2 or $3. It's $1.1 million. And this money goes to provide direct services to our students. And finally, the funding is based on attendance. So the longer it takes for us to get this program in place, the longer it takes for it to get going and for all the students to be serviced. While I was subbing in the ACES program a few weeks ago, as I said, we're supposed to service 1,040 students. We were only servicing about 533 because we don't have enough people in place. And that's a concern. And I received many phone calls from many parents. What's happening? Why is there not enough supervisors? What's going on? We rely on ACES and, what's happening. So it's a concern, and it's very important that, we look at this program as a priority. Your job as the board is to be sure our students are a priority. If you do not make ACES a priority, then you are not making our students a priority. So please, I just want you to have that information and to please consider ACES to be very important to the students and families of our community.
Okay.
That was the first one.
Yes, you have
Can I get
another one.
3 more minutes for the second? The second one is specifically for the ACES district coordinator position. I'm here tonight to urge the board members to please bring back the agenda item that was tabled on August 12th. The district recommended me for the ACES district coordinator position on August 12th. It was tabled by Mr. Valenzuela, and it was seconded by Ms. Aguilar to be tabled. It is now September 27th, and that agenda item has not come back again. Quite honestly, I'm not really sure, if the board is waiting for the district or the district is waiting for the board. Personally, for me, my name is attached to that agenda item, so I would really urge the board to please bring it back so a decision could be made on the ACES district coordinator position. This is the third year in a row that this happens, and it's very frustrating because right now, currently, I'm in limbo. I'm substituting, but I'm waiting for a decision to be made, and please bring it back so you can make a decision. So then I will have, peace of mind for myself. I would also like to say that as far as the ACES position goes, I have always, not only for the ACES position, but any teaching position in Calexico Unified, I have always applied because I have been told that I have the right to apply. So I just want to make that very clear, that I've always applied for positions that I have been told that I have the right to apply for. So with that being said, of course, I have to advocate for myself regarding the position, and hopefully you will take this information into consideration, bring back that agenda item, and make a decision. So why do I feel that I should be in that position? These are the following reasons. I have the knowledge and the experience of the ACES grant. I've gone through the audits that we have. I've met the auditors. I've built relationships with some of them. I've done this now for 3 years while I was subbing here 2 weeks ago. I did the audit. I went through the audits for attendance again. I did the federal program monitoring review last year with the federal, with Joshua Brady, Nora Reed at the federal level. I know what the renewal process is for the ACES grant. I've put systems into place for the last 2 years regarding the ACES program. I know what's needed for the attendance. I've built strong personal, working relationships with people at the state level who are in the after-school division, at the regional level, Helen Gonzalez, Joshua Nor at the state, Helen at the regional, George Miranda and Roseanne Curiel at the county. Here at the district, I've worked with Eduardo, I've worked with Mr. Sanchez, Dora, Monica, and the account services division. I've also worked with site principals, administrators, site coordinators, teachers. I've built strong working relationships with these individuals. So I need you to take that into consideration. I've also provided consistency. Is the program perfect? No. Is it still evolving? Yes. But I just would like to end with the following. This is from Tom Torklinson. He is the State Superintendent of Public Instruction. We received a letter last year, the ACES program did, regarding some audit findings, but I want to share with you the last sentence that was written. It said, lastly, in maintaining a strong after-school program, it is extremely important that the district have someone in place on a consistent basis to oversee the ACES program. I believe that I am that consistency. I've been managing the program for the last 2 years. I know what it takes. I know about ACES. And I'm telling you, you can talk to anybody who knows me. I have given 110% to that program. So if you give me the opportunity, I will do that again. But please bring it back and make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Gilbert Mendez.
Good evening, Gilbert Mendez, Calexico High School. And the reason I'm here is this past July, this board passed a revision of the high school graduation requirements. And in one of the items there, I think the board made a terrible decision. Namely, the fact that it impacts recent immigrants. The board decided that the students would be in ELD or ESL 1 year, and then the next year they would be mainstreamed. Now, most students are not ready after 1 year to be mainstreamed in regular English classes. And the intent with this was, I think, to address the issue of long-term English learners. But long-term English learners are in our regular English classes already. This impacts the recent immigrants. So there is no guidance from here in terms of when is it going to be implemented. Are the students going to be grandfathered or not? What happens to the students that can't make it in the regular classes? in 1974, there was a Supreme Court decision, Lau versus Nichols. And in part, what it said was that there is no equality of treatment merely by providing students with the same facilities, textbooks, teachers, curriculums. For students who do not understand English are effectively foreclosed from any meaningful education. And it goes on. We know that those who do not understand English are certain to find the classroom experience wholly incomprehensible and in no way meaningful. So that's what we're doing. We're taking students that have been here 1 year, the next year in a regular mainstream class. Ed Code in 3 sections address that issue, is that basically once the students are identified, there has to be an empirical criteria to exit the students, not just arbitrarily saying 1 year and then. And I'm asking this board to reconsider that decision and to look at this and come up with a better policy that addresses the needs of the students. Everybody has different needs, rather than just say by fiat, you have 1 year. If you can't make it, it's basically we're going back to sink or swim. Thank you.
Dr. Mendez, I think that speaking for myself, I think that my understanding of the intent of it was to align it that we would be graduating students in A through G. I was not aware of that particular impact that you're pointing out.
The way it's written is basically you have 1 year in ELD, you get credit for English for 1 year in ELD, and that is it. If the intent, again, was to make sure the students were proficient in English, we already have a test for that, and that's called a CASE. Mm-hmm. All right. This adds an extra burden on the kids. They're going to be sitting in a class with 1 year experience. Now, there are some kids that'll be fine with that, but I guarantee there's going to be a number of kids that are not going to be fine with that, and they're going to be struggling in those classes. And and if you don't understand what's going on, what are you getting out of that class?
Ms. Ambris, do you recall that language?
Yes, I do. And it's something that after the approval, or even right before it, Dr. Mendez brought it to our former superintendent. And so it was a discussion, and it's something that he stated in the past that he would continue to look into.
I don't think that was ever followed through to us. This is the first time I hear about that particular piece of that board policy, of the policy. We will look into it, Maria.
Absolutely.
Can
we follow up on that
Yes.
and corrective?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendez. And Dr. Mendez. A lot of doctors in the house today. Next speaker, Mr. Will Slater. Sí.
Will Slater, Calexico High School. As far as Dr. Mendez says, yeah, it does need to be looked at because the acquisition of language takes about 7 years in 1 year. Yeah. I'd hate for somebody to stick me in a Spanish class and say, you got to sink or swim. So, yeah, that's not really fair because we have a lot of different learning styles that people adhere to. And some kids may pick it up real quick, but others just as smart, just have different strengths, don't pick it up as quick. And anyway, I'm glad you're looking into that. But what I'm up here for is, as an advocate for another thing, is again, I told you, I'm going to be continually back here pounding on you about your decisions to lay these teachers off that we have with the substitutes and the situations that we are in now. And I know Ms. Ambris is working diligently, as Mr. Pesqueda and Dr. Mendez to solve this, but as good as he is, he don't see a Superman on his chest. He can't do everything. And I know they're working hard on it. The people that are held accountable are the people that are sitting here for what's going on. And we're at week 6 right now in this school year, and we have kids that have just completed movements. We have classrooms that have just gotten subs out, or teachers that are hired. We just got 2 teachers on our campus today that I saw. But this is week 6. It's almost the first quarter. Almost 25% of the school year, these kids don't have English and math. That's inexcusable. I'm telling you, that would not fly in Poway. That would not fly in Escondido. That would not fly in other areas with affluence. I think a lot of this is our kids are being picked on here. And I think a lot of it has to do with the strong arming that took place with the teachers to get rid of those teachers last year. The people that are suffering in this situation are the kids. And with the carryover of the budget, this should be solved quickly. We're being penny wise and dollar foolish when we worry about, are we going to have 34 kids or 35 kids in that classroom? Let's hire the teacher. I don't know anybody ever that says class size doesn't matter. It does matter. The more kids you have, the more difficult. The fewer kids, the better the learning, the better the environment. And we're not being fair to our Calexico kids. The people that are suffering in these situations are our kids. And I'm going to tell you, I look at some of the things. This is not a situation that was because we don't have subs in our classrooms because of somebody was pregnant or somebody has cancer or something like that. This is something we chose as leadership in this district to choose for this. And to put our kids that far behind, a whole quarter, that's not, there's no excuse for that. If like I told Dr. Fragali, if that was my kid and they had a sub in a classroom, people would be answering for it. Because it's inexcusable to have that many. It can't happen. And somebody's got to. And the reason I'm here is, who's going to speak for our kids? You know, they come. I've had kids come to my class after being pulled out, and classes change, crying and upset, and parents had talked, and they're upset. So I hear you over there.
He added you 10 more seconds.
All right. Well, I'm done. Again. Our populations are the same as they were last year. I don't know how we're getting by with that many fewer teachers. But the answer is we're not getting by. And the kids, people that are suffering, are the students.
Thank you, Mr. Slater. Ciro Calderon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ciro Calderon. I'm a school counselor at Desert Mirage High School. I have two things that I want to talk about. One is the RIF teachers that still haven't been hired back in QAA. Okay, as the previous speaker talked about, just like he talked about, we know that we have the need. We know that we have the need for those extra teachers. You still have a couple of subbing in the high school, the junior high. Well, let's bring back those teachers. Let's give those students the proper education. Okay, our students are not numbers. Okay, they're not subjects. They're not heads of cattle. Okay, they're students. They are our future. Okay, so we need to do whatever it is that we have to do in order to make sure that those kids get the proper education. Okay, I'm not saying that the subs that are there right now, they're not capable, but we have teachers that are willing to come back immediately. Okay, so I urge you right now to hire those teachers back, the RIF teachers back immediately, so we can have at least certificated teachers in the classrooms. Okay, now for QIA, my school, it's a product of QIA success. Why? If you look at our scores, Desert Mirage High School, we have gone up in the last 2 years. Why? Because we do have class size reduction. Okay, core classes, we have 25 to each classroom: English, math, science, and social science. 25. Electives, they went down to 32 per class. Okay, PE and ROP, PE is up to 50, and ROP is down to 32 as well. Okay, so yes, class size reduction, QEIA, it works. Okay, so let's do whatever we can, whatever we have to do in order to give our kids the opportunity, okay, to go to college or to choose. If they choose to not to go to college, well, let that be their choice. Okay, let's give our students the right tools in order for them to choose whether they want to be a doctor or a technician. Okay, but let it be their choice. Let it not be our choice, because it is our choice if we do that, if we continue to not provide the students with the proper tools. Okay, and that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you. Annette Butner.
Good evening. My name is Annette Butner, parent at Blanche Whaley and High School. And I agree with everything that Mr. Slater was saying because I'm one of those parents whose child is being affected by the overages. Right now in my 7th grade daughter's math class, pre-algebra block 4, there's still a substitute. This is now the 6th week of school. The what do you call them? The progress reports are the deadline closed. They're going to be getting them, and she has no idea who her teacher is. She's falling behind, and she was doing well in math, and not so hot now. Having to help her, and she's not getting homework. All they do is get handouts. But what can a sub plan for when they're only going to be there for a week? So get it together. I am not happy. I filed, I gave you guys a Williams complaint, and that was one of the teachers was my daughter's class. It's been more than 10 days. You guys have 10 days to resolve the matter. Please get her a permanent teacher like tomorrow because my next step is to contact the state. I'm not happy. My daughter's not happy, and I don't think the students are. And Mr. Slater gave you an image of what he sees. I'm giving it to you, what I'm directly feeling and seeing my daughter go through. And that is not a positive impact on the students that you're having when you lay off so many teachers. So bring her back a teacher tomorrow because I will contact the state. Thank you.
Ms. Butner, what school was that?
Willie Moreno. Pre-algebra, block 4 and 5.
Thank you. Raul Ureña.
Good evening, board members. Ms. Duarte, I submitted to...
That's what I'm looking at. You want to talk on both?
Sure. I'll start with my public comment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My name is Raul Ureña. I'm a sophomore at Calexico High School. And today I came here to give the school board a little reminder. At last school board meeting, I raised a concern regarding the fact that Calexico High School's library is still closed. It's not open at all during school hours, so students like me, who love to study and love to get ahead on my homework, are being denied that opportunity. Some board members, like Mr. Valenzuela, have come up to me and said, yes, we need that library open, but you don't take any action. If you really agree with me, do something about it, please. So, this is the prime time to show your stuff. There's an election coming up. So please show us why we should choose you again. Keep that in mind. Now, before I begin my next comment, I'd like to give a warm welcome to Ms. Ambris, our intern superintendent. Congratulations. And my comment on your report has to do with enrollment, subs, and class size. First of all, I'm shocked that you can come out and report that this school district has started with and still has substitutes. This is a direct violation of the Williams Act, and it is against the law to start with substitutes. Secondly, class overages. The class overages that we are having right now were predicted. I remember Mr. Cooper, Mr. Slater coming up here and telling you guys what would happen if you lay off teachers. Now it's happening. You were warned by community members, and these class overages and combo classes have a negative effect on us students. The only way to find a permanent fix to this problem is to bring back our teachers. You can move all the students all you want, but you will not be successful until you bring back teachers. Lastly, on enrollment, I know that many parents in the city of Calexico send their children to other school districts for the reason being that our school district has horrible schools. I hear the school board complain and complain and complain, but they never do anything about it. I suggest that if you don't start doing anything now, you should just please get out of the way and let somebody else lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ureña. Mr. Ureña, can you do your next speech?
Oh, that was it.
Oh, you combined both. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item J, Superintendent's recommends approval of each of the following items. Okay. Item number 1, approved minutes of regular board meeting held on September 13, 2012.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Aguilar, second by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion?
Discussion. In the minute clearly show up. State that he would like page 33. Trustee Kim state number 2. Trustee Kim state that would like to place on the next agenda for an action that any elected past school board member cannot be employed to work in the district for 6 years and 1 month. And I believe that our school district has short of the English to make this agenda.
Anything else, Mr. Kim?
That's it. So what is good for the president of the board or superintendent, and they choose to be not to put it in, that is what is as a board member here to put in the agenda. They're not doing it anyways. So they pre-boarded it secretly to say not to put it in there.
Okay.
And Miss Burgos told me at the night of the open house in the high school, I mean the other place, and she needs that night right now. I was outside. I will send Friday afternoon send the email, and I believe that sentence doesn't need to be made by me. And the Miss Burgo told me the president wants to have a sentence from me.
You were the one that was requesting the language, Mr. Kim.
Yes, but the meaning is a language detail. You can put it in. The district is supposed to be put it in that. I don't have to put it on. The meaning is there already.
No, you can write something up.
Yes,
And
so she
and we had
told
the
me.
meeting on Thursday, you didn't
Miss
turn
Bulgo told me
anything until
Thursday
Friday.
night.
Call for the question.
Thank you. Question has been called. Motion has been made by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye. Motion.
Madam President, I'd ask that it be placed on the agenda, and whatever language Mr. Kim provided, that be used, and we can settle it finally.
For next agenda.
Thank you.
Motion passes 4-1. Accounts payable pre-list.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion?
I have
Mr. Kim?
discussions. Page. I cannot see the page. Probably 6 of the 14. Number 024158, GCL LLP. The bill was amount of the $30,000, $30,401.49 for the service of the April 2011, about a month and a half ago. Why we have a bill at this time and this much amount? What we are hiding from there?
Is that you're correct? 4211?
Yes,
It's 4212, no?
that's 11, April 11.
No, it says April 11 here. But is it 4211 or 4012?
I believe it's a typo, Madam President, that it should be 4212, but that's, the invoice is dated.
Yes, I saw the
42 of
date on the
12.
invoice, and it says
and
12.
then this is a typo.
Typo.
Yes.
It's supposed to be April 2nd, 2012.
Here.
Right there. But the
The professional
invoice-
legal
the
service for invoice
is-
dated April 2nd, 11.
Right, and that's the error. It should be 40212.
No, that's the 12 on this submitted invoice. This one is the invoice date. So this invoice dated it April 2nd, 11.
The invoice.
It was a keying error, Mr. Kim, when they put the
Yeah.
description on the pre-list. It should be invoice
Okay.
dated 4/2/12.
Okay, so
So-
even the April, why we have last time several times I've been asking about all the bill, even we don't have to send the money, but we have to have a bill how much we gonna each month produced. That way, if some numbers something comes up, we have a questioning. Now April bill, how many persons gonna be able to remember on this bill to asking?
I think we have already discussed that situation every single month, and I think the answer has been given up every single month.
They never send the bill. By the contract, they're supposed to send the bill every month.
We understand, but we also had said earlier, back last year, Mr. Yuri Calderon and GCR had agreed to defer, to stop sending the payment so that we can meet payroll at the end of the year. So we're in the new year, so we're starting to pay those invoices now, Mr. Kim.
Well, including Mr. Calderon and Ms. Randall was saying that one she was requesting to every bill, even we're not sending the bill. If you see the recording, you're supposed to say there. So we supposed to record. They both agree they're gonna send the bill, the monthly bill, so we can know how much we owe. It means when they send the bill, we don't have to pay that.
And,
right
and
away.
Mr. Kim, just to follow up on what you're saying, yes, and my office has requested the bills. We just haven't. We've received 2 bills, and this is this bill, this item that's on the agenda, and I believe on the last agenda there was a bill from GCR. They are sending the bills, but we have not received all of the bills for the services rendered from GCR, and as we get them, that's when they appear on the pre-list for payment.
Yeah, but we don't have all the bills.
We have not. The district has not
Okay.
received all of the bills at this point.
That's one of the questions we're supposed to know.
That's
that we're supposed to
and
know
all
the
I
bills.
can and all I can do is request them, Mr. Kim, since I don't prepare the bill for GCR. All I can do is request them, and my staff and I have again this week requested those additional bills.
So before this time, we don't have any owe them.
Pardon?
So we said we paid all the month before this month.
No.
Before the April.
No,
So why are we paying one? This one is skipping around.
Well, it's
why we don't
because
pay the bill the month by month?
We haven't, well, at the time, like we've expressed at many of the board meetings, is in the spirit of cash flow, and with our issues that we've had in cash flow, GCR was not billing us on a consistent basis because the district at that time could not afford to pay the bill. So to assist the district with the cash flow, they didn't present the bills. Now that we are in a better position and we need to rid the district of that liability, we are requesting them to submit the bill so that we can start paying the bills of what we owe, the liability.
But by the oldest ones.
Pardon?
For example, I just issued my check to the one company. The last time I sent the 5,500 over something, and this time I paid $1,000 something. Because I'm paying for the oldest one invoice by one. Then we're supposed to go by that way.
We're not paying.
I'd like to
charging
call
us
for the question.
interest.
Can we please move forward? This
We're
has
not
been
paying
a
interest on them.
repetitive and
This is
exhaustive
our board.
You know
this
what,
our
Mr.
board
Kim, you ask the same
edited.
question every month, and the same
Yes.
explanation is given to you. It's
Yes,
cash
that's
flow,
we never
and
fix
it's
it. We never fix
move
it.
forward, please.
We never fix it. We're not paying by monthly basis.
Okay,
We're not
Ms.
paying we're not paying for the oldest
I'd
one
like to
first.
call for the
Just putting
question.
one here and one there.
Okay, Mr. Kim, the question has been called, but the invoices have been requested to GCR. As soon as all the invoices come in, then you will see a bigger amount here. And you will question the same thing again. So question has been called.
That's different kind of questions. This time of the question, this time to why we paying the bill, different. First of all was they said a typo, but the thing is why we don't pay the bill the oldest one first. That way we can keep track.
Just to
And it's the
clarify,
same-
and
it's the same
it says
question.
invoices dated. I don't have the bill right in front of me, so I'm not sure the services rendered, but that's the invoice date, the date it was invoiced. So I don't know what month of service it's for. And it is a typo. It should be for whatever.
For
For
12.
Yeah, that's another one. That's another one. We're supposed to have, for example, the invoice they send us April 2nd, but then they supposed to have a service date. We supposed to have which month we paying. They put the same date on there.
Okay.
There's something wrong down there.
Okay, Mr. Kim, we're not going to answer the question at this point because we don't have the invoices here. Let's move on to any other.
Okay, so
I do have
answer
a
that.
question.
Any other? Ms.
Question
Aguilar?
on page 9 of 14. It says reimbursement for wrist. Is it a wristband or
Which one?
page 904? Frank Noriega. About
Frank Noriega?
it says reimbursement for wrist. Okay.
Not
I was-
reimbursing for
Did we-
wrists, but yeah,
Did we take
it's
his
for the
wrist?
wristbands for the graduation.
For collateral
Yeah.
or something?
Okay.
Okay. Any other board member has any more? If not, I call for the question. I have them. Where are my papers? I have a motion made by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. No.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1. Approved certificated employment report for September 27th, 2012. Item J3.
So moved.
Second.
No change.
Hold on a second.
Let's change.
I withdraw that.
Okay.
Excuse me. What is that?
She's withdrawing.
'Cause I don't have the language.
Okay,
The recommendation for.
I make
Mrs.
a
Ambrose?
motion. Oh, hold on. I make a motion to make a change on the extended contracts general fund 0000 for English 11, World History, English 12, American Government, Honors English, U.S. History, and American Government to be from the beginning date till the end of the first semester. All of them?
All of it.
All of them.
Okay. Okay. I'll change my motion to changing the extended date ending contract from 6/7/13 to end of the first semester, which is December 19th, 2012.
Second.
And,
Unless Tony's
Julio
second is.
Gaitan is
I-
special for.
Excuse me, Mr. Romo. I am withdrawing my second, so we'll take normal.
Thank
second.
you.
Okay. So I have a motion made by Ms. Duarte, seconded by Ms. Aguilar. Discussion? Okay.
Discussion?
All in, Mr. Kim?
Yeah. I'm not happy with the way we handle the seniority list, and they suddenly sneak around to our what's called the make the way to evaluating the seniority list, and suddenly they changed it.
That's not that's not what is on the table right now, Mr. Kim. with all
Yes,
due
I understand
respect.
that. I'm just discussing.
I
I
know,
don't
but
like
that's
it.
not-
I don't like
I
the way being done.
understand.
Mr. Kim,
None of
that
us
was
do.
a closed session discussion?
Okay, now I don't
Yeah.
matter. That's a regular one. That's not open session one. That's openly we've been discussing this March
No.
on those. So I'm not
No.
talking about the personal
You're out of
name,
line.
nothing.
Can you say it for your board members' comments, Mr. Kim? Please?
No, this one I said related. This one, why are you just pushing
It
it
is
around?
not related to this one.
Yes,
Mr. Kim.
because this is a way we are hiring some persons on
Okay.
the way to that. That's what I'm
But
saying.
it's not related to this certificated.
You guys want to try to close everything to the communities.
It is not closed. We can discuss
This wasn't
it
delayed on
here.
this item. That's why I'm talking.
I call for the question. There's a motion on the floor. Motion made by Ms. Duarte, seconded by Ms. Aguilar. All in favor of the motion?
Excuse me, what is the motion?
The motion is to change the ending date to the end of the,
But I need add for the other change. You remember?
to
Yes.
not approve, Mr. Gaitan.
Yes. Add.
Or to withdraw his name.
remove
To
Mr.
to
Gaitan.
withdraw
Remove,
his name.
Yes.
Okay. So then the motion will be, well,
I withdraw my second.
okay. I will amend my motion to, or change my motion to end on the extended contract general fund to keep the beginning date, but the ending date, change it to the end of the semester, which is December 19, 2012, and withdraw Mr. Julio Gantan's, withdraw the Spanish from this list
For extended contract.
for the extended contract, yes.
Yeah.
I second it.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Thank you. On Mr. Gaitan, I would recommend that you do it effective today, would be his last day. He has been working on the extended contract, and its services already rendered that
Yes.
need to be paid. So nothing from here on. Could we agree that it be in that fashion?
Correct,
Okay.
because this would be effective 9/7. Okay, I see what you're saying.
See?
Oh,
Right.
yes, effective today.
Thank you.
Okay,
Discussion. Further, you change the motion. I have the discussion on that one. I don't like our kids need the teachers. We have to. Our job is to find the money to provide the key teachers for our children. It's not to just saying that we don't have money to. We're not going to provide the teachers for you guys.
thank you, Mr. Kim. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 No.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1. Approve Personnel Commission Classified Employment Report for September 27, 2012.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Aguilar, second by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion?
Yes. Number 4, classified employment. Martinez Saya.
Zaida Martinez.
Oh no, number not Martinez. Serrano Erika, funding source general, and office assistant, DO bus services. Don't we hold the position for the new hiring? And why we need the service? Suddenly we creating the new position, bus services.
This is not a new position, Mr. Kim. We were told in closed session that it was.
We never discussed in
It was
this
up to
closed session.
35 hours only. It was only up to 35 hours.
For week.
No, up to 35 hours. That's it. She will go back to her position after that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam President, I just want to note that it's highly irregular for discussion of closed session to be.
I understand, but we did discuss it.
Yes, I know.
It was said 35 hours.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Hi.
Motion passes 5-0. Hortensia Mendaris to attend the ACSA Pupil Services Academies in Ontario.
So moved.
Discussion.
Okay.
Second.
So moved by Ms. Aguilar, second by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion, Ms. Romo?
Yes. I need more information for Hortensia Armendaris because it's very expensive. But she have two. Okay. And item 5 and item 13.
The first item is a training for AXA, and that is a 14-day training, but it's 2 days per month. I start Friday at 5 o'clock. I think it's 5 to 8, 5 to 9, and then Saturday most of the day. And that one's a really important one because there we'll be talking about suspensions, expulsions, interventions, what the law is. And that second one is half a day training in San Diego, also about suspensions. But you can't compare what I will get in 1 day compared to an academy of a 14-day academy.
In my opinion, it's very expensive, $5,380. And then I remember you have a loan and free family resource center. And third, in my opinion, you need more support for other person. No, this is courses or what is the
academies.
This is my opinion, okay? But you have other course and for October.
That's a few hour training.
No,
but if you're going to choose one or the other, choose the academy.
Other training. But you have a loan at the Family Resource Center.
I have a lot of work. And I work 24 hours. I'm working right now too, so I'll be working over there also.
So this one is like 14 days.
It's 14-day academy. It's Friday half a day, Saturday almost all day. What's really good about that is that I will constantly have contact with administrators from other counties, and especially the one that I really want to continue to have contact with is Mr. Sherman Garnett, who's the guru of attendance, suspensions, expulsions. I mean, I can pick up the phone, call him, email him, and guide me on what's the latest of law and interventions. And
But this is funded through Title I, right?
It's Title I. It's staff development.
Yes. So it's staff development funding. So there's no impact to the general fund.
Yes, but this is money.
Yeah, but this one is Friday, Saturday. Actually, 1 day a week to effective.
And I'm not charging you my Saturday.
Ms. Hortensia, Ms. Hortensia.
It's the same person.
This is in Ontario, California. The 5380 just funds the school, the academy.
What do you mean the 5380?
You'll be spending the night. You won't be driving back.
Oh no, I'll be staying there.
Is this price including hotel stay?
It's everything. It's transportation, hotel, registration, and per diem.
For
14 days.
Is this type of expenses similar to what was expended for sending our teachers to the core, to the core, Common Core workshops and stuff?
This is 7 weeks.
Yeah, I know, but is it that same pot of money?
General,
same type of
staff
training?
development, yes.
Okay, all right. I'll call for the question.
Okay. So I have a motion by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. All in favor of the motion?
No.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 4-1.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Item J6, agreement between CUSD and document tracking services for licenses and other services related to single plan and student achievement for 2012-2013 school year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Have motion made by Mr. Valenzuela, seconded by Ms. Aguilar. Discussion? I do. Is this a new service, or is this just renewing the licensings? Renew. So we already have this service. Okay. Okay. I call for the question. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Continue the contract with Scholastic Education for the Read 180 and System 44 programs.
Motion.
Taken.
Question.
Okay. Motion made by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion? Ms.
Yes,
Aguilar?
I did. These programs, Read 180 and System 44, I know that some schools are using it, some schools are not. What's the percentage of our schools that are using these programs? Ms. Spencer?
I see all of them here.
The ones that are listed in the contract should all be using.
I guess maybe, let me rephrase my question. Why is it that some are using it and some are not?
Yes, that's a better question.
On the Read 180 right now, I believe everyone.
Okay, well,
is
then
using it
the
according-
44 is the one that's not implemented across
The
the
System
board?
44.
System
It's
44,
not-
and why is that?
I'm not sure. That's a English learner program, and I don't know the answer as to why they're not.
Can you
invoking.
find out?
I will find out.
All
I'll
right.
bring it back to you.
Thank you.
Ms. Aguilar, when you mentioned that they're not, I mean, I see all the schools with,
They're all listed.
60 licenses, 70 licenses, 40
Mhm.
licenses. I mean, I know that the entire school is not using them, but I see every single school using them.
Mhm.
So
I think
do
every
you
school
know
is listed.
something that some schools are not using it?
Well,
and we need to know that because this can be drastically reduced
Yeah.
by, it's
Well,
28,900.
because I've come across some teachers that have told me that they really don't implement it. So that's what I'm saying. And I've asked that before. If we're not using it consistently, then why are we paying for it, the licensing?
So,
but I'm not comfortable with saying so and so told me or
No,
or
that's
whatever.
not what I'm asking.
But we will find out.
Yeah, because if there's 40 licenses at Cesar Chavez, hopefully 40 licenses are being used.
Yes.
Because if it's not being used, we need to know that so that we do not pay for this and
Okay,
it's not being
can we
used.
put it in terms of, can we find out how it's being tracked? And if it's part of their
It's $29,000.
syllabus or part of whatever, it's teaching plan.
Is this the $1 million program that we bought?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes. That's the one that's sticking in my craw.
That's at
$1.4 million.
Can we find out, I mean, these licenses are for this year?
They are for this year, and the way that
Principals, are your classrooms using it? Yes? Okay.
the way that
Don't
these-
just say yes
No.
because we're asking.
The way these numbers were determined was the English learner coordinator questioned the schools as to how many licenses did they want, and that's why I was kind of taken back by you saying they weren't using them, because these are the numbers that she came back with from the school sites.
Okay. So they're transferable? Okay.
Okay.
Well, we can look into it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Adopt textbook, The Culinary Professional, specifically for the career technical class. So moved.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
So moved by Ms. Romo, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion? Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Approve the 2011-2012 unaudited actual financial report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Valenzuela, seconded by Ms. Romo.
Don't we have to have
Discussion?
some kind of explanation from the
Yes, I have a presentation. I just was
Yeah.
Discussion.
why don't we hold the discussion? We see the report first.
Second.
Good evening, board members. I have a presentation prepared for you this evening in regard to our 2011-12 unaudited actuals. Go ahead, Eddie. The 11-12 unaudited actuals, they are required by ICOE and CDE, and they are due to CDE on October 15, 2012. What they unaudited actuals encompass are the transactions for the 11-12 school year and how they're recorded in our financial system and prepared for the state of California. As a part of those transactions and how we classify those transactions is through guidance from our county office, ICOE, through the School Services of California, and through state and federal bulletins that the district receives. And what it does, again, is it classifies or it expresses the actual expenditures through June 30th of 2012. On the slide that you're looking at, this is a breakdown of the 2011-12 actuals for the unrestricted general fund. And what I've done on this slide is I've compared the estimated actuals, which is what the estimate was in May to close the year for 11-12, and then what they actually were in September when closing the books, and what the variance or what the differences are. There was, at the end of May, we projected revenue to be the $56,447,291, and what it actually was the $56,341,832. So there was an increase of revenue by a little over $105,000. Our total expenditures in May, we estimated them to be at $52.2 million, and what they actually were in September were $51.1 million, which is a difference of a little over $1 million, which our expenditures were less $1 million. And what effect that has on the unrestricted general fund is that it increased the difference between the revenue and expenditures, meaning that we did not spend more in the unrestricted general fund than what revenue we received. If you look down where it says the net increase and decrease, because we did have other financing sources where we have to transfer those funds, had to transfer budget and expenditures to other funds in our budget. There was a net deficit of $481,980 as of September. What we projected in May was a deficit of $2.5 million in the unrestricted general fund. So actually we still deficit spent, but we deficit spent less, which is a bonus to the district. Okay? So the ending fund balance. In May, we estimated it to be $8.663 million. What it actually ends up at this point in time, prior to our audit, in the event that there are any audit adjustments that will come after we go through our audit, better. Our ending fund balance has increased by $2.043 million. And that, again, is fund balance, not cash, ending fund balance. I just wanted to make that clarification. And on the bottom of this graph, there is just the components of our ending fund balance, which are our revolving cash, $50,000, our 3% required reserve, and then what is assigned for the additional assigned balances, which is just to maintain fiscal stability in our district. Next slide is the very same thing, but for restricted general fund total revenue. We estimated it to be $19 million in May, and come unaudited actuals, it was $18 million. So it actually was a difference of $855,000 difference, less in revenue. But we didn't lose $855,000. We spent $855,000 less. And because of the way that categoricals work, and we have carryover and we have deferred revenue, we're able to transfer that revenue into this budget year, the 12-13 year. So that will be carryover that we can use in our current budget year. Okay, that's our carryover. Everything along the same lines. Our net ending fund balance in May, we were estimating $5.4 million, and we actually ended up with $6.38 million of carryover in categoricals that we'll be able to use in the 12-13 budget. And all of these numbers will reflect and be updated at first interim. Some of the variances in regard to the May estimate and then how it actually came in. The estimates were made based on prior year spending, in addition to open POs at the time of the estimate. A lot of the variances also come with, we ordered a lot and we had a lot of POs open at the time of the estimation. And if merchandise isn't received by June 30th, then we cannot charge that to the 11-12 budget. Those items, if received after June 30th, will be then charged to the 12-13 budget. So that's a reason as we close those purchase orders and those expenditures are not posted in the 11-12 budget is because the merchandise is not received at that time. Also, we had some increase in our lottery revenue of a little over $100,000, which is definitely a bonus to the district. And as they certify lottery numbers and enrollment and ADA, those numbers will change, and there could also be a further increase moving forward. That we'll find out in the 12-13 year. Some of the things that are included in our unaudited actuals, or what's included in our revenue, would be the Tier 3 flexibility transfers, our ability to sweep those categorical programs that are eligible in order to backfill the shortfall in the state. Also, we had to transfer budget and revenue to other funds to help complete the Jefferson projects and work on other modernization projects that we were working on in the prior year, as well as finishing out those projects before the beginning of this school year. Also included in the unaudited actuals are the employee compensation negotiations. There were negotiations done in the 11-12 year with the management and confidential, with the CSEA, with the furlough days, in addition to the ACT with furlough days at the end of the year. So all of these things are encompassed in the actuals for 11-12. What does this mean for Calexico? Well, the good thing is that our ending fund balance has increased. And although we did deficit spend, but we deficit spent a lot less than what we were projecting to spend. Just a few things to consider. Just next month, or right around the corner, are the November trigger cuts. And those are $457 per ADA, which is the equivalent to our district over $4 million. There will be a loss of revenue due to increased class sizes, and that's specific to class size reduction. There are additional cuts that I receive, nothing too specific at this point, but the fiscal services blurps from school services we receive that there are potential additional cuts in federal and state revenue. So those are also things to keep in mind. That coming up in the multi-year, there will be an ending of the Tier 3 flexibility. So the district will no longer be able to sweep those flexibility programs to help and backfill the short revenue. So those are all things to consider. Again, the first interim will reflect all the changes made since the 45-day revised budget or the adopted budget. And what that will encompass are the staff changes and the increases and all of the higher backs. That'll all be reflected in our first interim. And again, obligations for merchandise and items received after June 30th. Although they're not able to be in the 11-12 budget, we still are obligated, if the merchandise is received, to pay for those items. So that will come out of that ending fund balance that is increased. Cash flow. The total general fund ending cash balance was a positive $3.689 million. Now, what that encompasses is we were actually negative in unrestricted general fund cash, a little over $1.9 million. But our restricted cash was a positive $5.6 million, which allowed us to have a positive cash balance. Just a reminder that our total budget and our revenues are made up of 92% state aid and 8% in local property taxes. The district has applied for and received approval for our 2012-13 deferral waivers, which is great for our district, which means that in July, August, October, and March of this 12-13 year, we will receive our regularly scheduled apportionment. Oh, hold on, Eddie. Go back. Okay. And of that, we're still receiving reduced monthly apportionments, but at least we're receiving the apportionment. And we are set to, with this new cash apportionment schedule, to receive a lump sum in June 2013 for the current budget year. My recommendation for the unaudited actuals is for the Board of Trustees to approve the 2011-12 Calexico Unified unaudited actuals. Questions, please.
Question I have. So we still have a, first of all, we still have a minus deficit budget of $5.7 million.
I'm sorry, what?
Our budget still the deficit budget $5.7 million.
Where are you looking, Mr. Kim?
The first page is the deficit.
On the 12-13 budget.
Yes, 12-13 budget.
Yes. Like I expressed, the actual 12-13 budget will be updated at first interim. So this is the budget column that you're looking at, the 12-13. That is the last updated and approved budget by the board.
Okay, and the last year we had actually we didn't have a minus. We have about almost $5 million balance left over from last year.
And you're saying in 11-12?
Yes, 11-12.
Yes, that is correct.
But until certain times ago, we were saying we are minus. Now we are $5 million positive from the balance left over from the last year.
Well, we still deficit spent in the general fund, Mr. Kim, if I'm understanding your question. We still did deficit spend in the unrestricted general fund.
Well, unrestricted.
Well, that's just the difference between the revenue. If you turn to page 2, you can see that on line E, there's still a negative $481,980.
Well, what I'm understanding, page 1, they have on overall summary there. The overall summary is on the A, 11-12 budget. A, unrestricted. We received the revenue $56 million unrestricted, and we spent $51 million.
Correct.
So which is like we have a $5 million balance left over from the last year.
Well, you have to go through the whole form. If you go through D, those transfers out of $5.6 million, which net decrease the $481,000. So we still did deficit spend in 11-12.
You're talking about the D, unrestricted.
Yes.
Same
D.
page, same line.
Yes.
D is
D is
$1.8 million unrestricted for the next year. Oh, you're talking about on the bottom.
Right.
Why we have to get other financing resource? Why have to the minus $5.6 million there?
Because that all is a part of the budget. These were all transfers that were made in and out for all of the construction projects that we did. We didn't, that was just the revenue to the expenditures, and we then transferred money to other funds to fund those projects for Jefferson, to correct, we did all those transfers last year to correct all of those other funds. So that's all encompassed in that. So we still did deficit spend in the unrestricted general fund.
Unrestricted general fund, we are deficit, probably about $500,000.
That is correct, the $483,000.
Okay, but wasn't that bad? We just
Right,
compared a couple
it's
of
better
$1 million.
than, that is correct.
Okay, so we have, we're going to have this year, we can have almost $2 million balance left over from the unrestricted. We go back to the same line, C, excess deficiency, and the 12-13, we're talking about almost $2 million we are going to have a balance left over.
Well, remember, you have to look
And
at
then
D.
we're gonna have
You've
to
got to
set the
look
D.
at D, right. So
We have to transfer the money more.
Right, it looks like if you turn the page, because remember, you have to go through D, all the way through D. We're projecting to deficit spend still in 12-13 $1.32 million.
Okay, but for the general fund.
That is correct, for the unrestricted general fund, yes.
Okay. But why they causing the $5.7 million total the minus? Then we go back to C again.
Because if you look at the 5.7 that's on the budget side you're looking at?
Yes,
See?
12-13.
That's the difference because we're projecting to deficit spend on the restricted side, which is the categorical funds, which we can do that because we have all that carryover.
So I think the last year we were talking about another $5 million deficit. Actually, we end up almost balance made even all the transfers.
No, you mentioned it, not us.
The last year, I mean, the last year when we said the budget about we have when you're talking about the 11-12 budget, we was keep saying we're going to be minus $5 million or $3 million minus, but actually we end up with almost the balance made even. So this one is we're going to be saying the almost $6 million is going to be minus.
Right, and it's because remember we took the furloughs and when we did the negotiating, we did the layoffs and all of those things. So that's all inclusive here. So
yeah, but actually we're gonna make even we have a layoff. We can have all those things. We're gonna have almost $6 million minus this time deficit.
Well, remember, that's just in categorical. So we in order to not lose it or have to pay it back to the state, then we have to spend it. And since we've already received it, in order to get rid of it, we have to overspend because we're not going to receive it again.
I call for the question.
I have one question. I see a new item here that is special education discretionary grants for $39,000.
Yes.
What is that new?
I believe that's the mental health. Page 5.
Is that the new program?
It's a mental health program for special ed, and we received that. It's $39,000, I think $270 or something along those lines. And it is. I'm not exactly sure program-wise what it can be spent on, but it is for special ed services.
I want to know if this is the program that we have been talking about. No. Okay.
Is the mental health one the one that the other one?
The Mr. Padilla's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, yes.
Oh, okay. I was going to say if it's for Mr. Padilla's plan, $39,000 ain't going to cut it.
No, and I think that one is over $200,000. That other one that we're making the 6512, isn't that? That's it's over $200,000 on that one.
Now the local tax. The local revenue, is that the $2,400,000?
Local revenue?
Yeah, the local the local
Which one
tax.
are you looking at? Let me see.
On 8? Is that the one for the local tax?
Is that on page 4?
No, on page 1.
I'm sorry.
I was looking for it because I had seen it.
The other local revenue?
Okay, county and district taxes, that's not the one for us taxpayers here in Calexico, right?
You said you're on page 4. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Oh, page 1?
On page 1, other local revenues.
Section.
Is that?
Oh, that's a combination of all many different things. Like we receive revenue for transportation, any revenue
From the
that we get.
taxes
Like if somebody donates us $500 to the district, it's just any additional revenue that we receive in the district. The property tax one comes in with your other state revenue. It comes in your state revenue.
Okay, so it's combined in there.
Right.
Okay.
Or actually, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's in the revenue limit sources in number 1. It's a part of the $44 million. Because remember, our revenue limit is made up partly by state aid and property taxes. So it would
Correct.
fall under number 1, which is the $44 million.
Okay. So it's not broken down anywhere in here, right?
It actually, if you go to page 4, and our page 4, and you can look at where it says the object codes, from 8011 or 8011 to 8089. You can see that on like where it says 8011, that's our state aid, and it goes down to, which we don't have a charter school, but state aid prior year, tax, and then from 8021 to about 8047, those are all proper. That has all to do with property taxes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, page 10. We still have almost $4 million less than last year on the certified teacher salary, which is like improved about $500,000 increased only, but we have a lot of teachers being rehired.
Say that one more. I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Yeah, we've been rehired a lot of teachers, but increasement of the salary only $0.5 million. So what is the cause of that? You should be more increased the more than $500,000.
Can you tell me
What
exactly
line?
where you're looking
okay.
at? What line?
Remember we have a June, I believe June 25th, the budget. We have approved the $4.5 million less for the compared to last year. This time we have a $4 million less, so which is like a little $500,000 increase than the June budget. And we hired a lot of teachers, I believe, impacting more than $500,000.
Right, and remember that, and it will be updated at first interim.
At the first interim.
At first interim, and just because I know you always make the comment, Mr. Kim, that the numbers change. So I don't want to present anything other than what the board has approved, and the proper time to do that is at first interim, so that the board can approve those changes.
So actually, this number we're seeing might be not the correct number.
It is the correct number because it's the latest board approved budget. So yes, it is. And it will be updated to reflect, as I stated, the additions of staff and all of that at that time.
So budget 2012-13 budget is nothing been changed because we're going to be changed by at the first interim report.
Well, and at that time we received the entitlement letters and things so that we can update the revenue, and again we will include the differences and the losses of revenue having to do with class sizes. So there will be significant changes at first interim.
Okay, then how come the classified employments, classified salaries? It was June budget, 2,200 classified support salaries. June budget was $1.8 million. Now $44.1 million. They raised up a lot.
You know what? That was a typo, and it was again a keying error. After you and I had spoken in the board meeting, and it looked as if it was for the for management or administrator salaries. That was incorrect. As a matter of fact, that was all of our maintenance staff was put to object code 2100 instead of 2400. So that was
okay. So 2300 is the same as things. Because if they had of about
Right.
$3 million, now have $700,000.
Right, and that
So
was
they're saying
just a
same type.
correction because you had brought it to my attention, and they were posted in the budget incorrectly. And in order to fix that, because that was an error. That was not management and supervisory. That was all of our maintenance staff. That was coded to the wrong object code.
Okay, so again, we still have this one is not going to be implementing after in case of what's called the Prop 30 not passing. This is not implementing that budget yet.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The governance, yeah. So
What is included in the 1213 or in this is it does not include the trigger. What on the multi-year projection, which you'll see at first interim, you'll see the plug there. So no, it doesn't include the trigger in there. No, it doesn't.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Valenzuela, seconded by Ms. Romo. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Motion passes 4-1. Ratify stipulated agreement related to waiver of state penalties before EAAP.
So moved.
I have a motion made by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Rebidding of the Mains Elementary Earthquake Repair Project. So moved by Ms. Romo.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Valenzuela.
I have a question. Why we raising the?
Discussion.
Why we raising the bid?
Can we have Mr. Martinez come forward, please?
Mr. Martinez.
Good evening. I'm sorry, Mr. Kim, what was the question?
Yeah, we have a raising the bid amount of money from the 15,000 to the 30,000.
Yes. In regards to that question, there is we got an email from the Division of State Architect requesting that we add on to that particular project the ADA accessibility requirements, and the requirements are that you add at the very least 20% more to that project. It's a requirement they have to add any ADA requirements. It could be accessibility, it could be repair or upgrade restrooms to handicap accessibility, those type of things.
I don't think that's the item, Mr. Martinez.
As far as
this is adding from 15,000 to increasing 100% to $30,000 the job at main school.
Mm-hmm. And
J11.
Yeah, J11.
Mm-hmm.
We're increasing the amount from 15,000 to 30,000, and I recall that when Doblado Construction submitted the bid in 2010, they had submitted for one amount. After the earthquake, and now that a couple of months ago when Doblado Construction was going to do the bid again, they wanted us to reapprove the bid, but they increased the amount.
Okay.
And I believe that this is it. We are getting stuck with the amount of increase because it is above the 10% threshold that we can spend.
Okay, so there's two different things here. Okay. Originally on 7/31, the meeting on 7/31/12, the board approved the notice to proceed to Doblado Construction. The original, what was approved then was for him to continue, or the company to continue to work, proceed with the work at an amount of $236,000. At that time, the amount that was awarded, it was from from April 4th of 2010. You were working with an amount of 2 years old. What happened there also was that the Division of State Architect, when the drawings were submitted to the to the architect, they added the scope of work as far as, this doesn't sound too good.
I think you're too close.
Anyways, what the, if I may, this way?
We need it for the
Okay.
recording.
So what the Division of State Architect required was additional structural steel on that job. Also, what happened on that particular project was that adding to the scope of work was also some abatement removal. There was found some asbestos, very small amounts, but nevertheless had to be removed. Also, what has to be abated were lead-based paint. There's about 600 spots that have to be removed to accommodate the new structural steel for the welding and so forth. Also added to the scope of work was when originally that estimate was given, some chiller lines were found when all the ceiling was removed, so that's in addition to that. And then being an old estimate of over 2 years old, the new amount that Mr. Doblado came up with was $435,200 extra. So at that time, obviously way over the 10% threshold as far as for public contract. So that's the reason that we decided to rebid. When this was scheduled to be rebid in regards to the last meeting, which was, what was it, the 13th. What happened that same day, we actually got an email from the Division of State Architect requesting that we add on to the scope of work requirements that they have for accessibility compliance. So anytime you do any project with a Division State Architect, one of the requirements, and this is throughout the state, and they require this of everyone, that you add at the very least 20% more to the project. So let's say it's $100,000, just an example. You're going to have to add at least $20,000 more to that project to do American Disability Act, ADA compliance, and that could be it could be as far as for path of travel, it could be new door hardware to make it easier, upgrade restrooms and so forth, but you have to add all that. With the Division of State Architect, you can have a 100-year-old building, and they won't say anything. Everything's been grandfathered. But once you do any upgrades that have to go to them, that's a requirement to have. An example is the gymnasium, Varner Gym. That's one of the issues there. So again, going back to mains, with adding 20% more to just the number again, $500,000 project, now you've added an extra $100,000. So that's why Mr. Fergali decided to pull that item from the last meeting as far as going to bid. Now, we know a little more, and we know that it's going to cost 20% more at the very least. And I say very least because if you're going to remodel a restroom, it could be 25 or 30% more, not necessarily 20, but it's just the requirement. Now, saying this, using the Willie Moreno project, when we did Willie Moreno, we had approximately $158,000 from FEMA monies to repaint the school. The contract we gave or was awarded by the board was for $96,000. So you have a savings of about $50,000 that could be used, a little over $50,000 that could be used on this particular project. So when you come to the amounts and the estimating the cost, that's why we doubled up the amount, because originally it was $236,000 now, and it's an estimate of about $430-some thousand, and then add the 20%. That's why we're coming up with these numbers. And again, they're just estimates and approximate numbers here. Right now we're in the process of closing out the Jefferson project. As we all know, the Jefferson project went way above the normal numbers that we were estimating, and we overspent by about $500,000 or so, and we know the reasons for that, and the unforeseen things from the earthquake and so forth. Now, where did we get that money from? It didn't affect the general fund. What we did is we had monies left over from the original modernization at Calexico High School, and the estimated amount was about $750,000. That's where those funds came out. Now, again, we're in the process of closing out Jefferson. Once that's done, we'll know more as far as how much monies we have left over. We're estimating maybe $200,000 to $250,000, but that's only an estimate. Once this is closed, we'll know more if we have additional funding for any additional cost. Now, using the Willie Moreno project, the bid came in under to what we were projecting. So in this case, if we go out to bid, once we have the numbers and we open bids October 2nd, we'll know more as far as the actual numbers, as far as is it coming under what we're projecting or not, and that's where we're at. So that's as best as I can explain it here.
And all that is understandable, and I know DSA wants us to be ADA compliant and all that, but when you already have a contract, and we are only allowed to spend 10% under, that's what it was.
All right. A lot better.
When we're only can spend up to 10% above the price contractually, it makes it very difficult for them to request requirements when the bid has already gone out, and it's unfortunate. But if is there money left over from mains? I mean, this is $15,000 more. I mean, can we scrape that from some FEMA monies left over?
I'm sure we could. Raul, I tell him all the time, no. No. But, as we're closing out the projects, I'm sure that because it is a necessity, and these are things that we, to be in compliant, to be ADA compliant, I'm sure that we can find it, Madam President.
Just that says general fund on there, and it's like,
and
I'm trying to help.
Yeah, but if we're not ADA compliant, then we're going to be in a whole mess of trouble.
Well, it was fine until the earthquake, and then they got smart by helping these companies, construction companies, to make more money off of school districts. And I can't. I mean that is just frustrating for me. Because it's highway robbery to the school districts, actually.
Madam President, now is just a reminder of all this money coming in from FEMA. Remember that the match from Calexico Unified will be 6.25% of whatever it is.
I understand. But when you don't have money to pay teachers, it makes it really hard.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay, so I call for the question. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. I have a motion made by Ms. Romo, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. All in favor of the motion?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. And let's get this done. Approve the renewal of licensing agreement with Safari Montage for the 2012-13 school year.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion?
Is that the same question?
Same question, same licensing?
It's the same as last continuation, renewing?
It's a continuation except for 2 schools that opted out.
Yeah.
Why did they opt out?
They opted out because they found that they weren't using it to the extent that they thought was worth it for their investment. The other schools are still using it.
So they're not using it, those schools?
Those 2 schools.
2 is good.
That's why it's $6,000 less than last year.
Meaning is that if the 2 schools can be opt out, why other schools have to use it then?
They don't have to. They're using their budget for this.
It's Kennedy Gardens and Willie, no?
Okay.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 5-0. John Moreno. This is the way it starts. John Moreno, Jaime Santos, Mike McFadden, Hortensia Armendariz, and Eugenia Diaz to attend the Mastering the Suspension Expulsion Process training.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have.
Hold on, Madam President. Mr. Moreno?
I was not able to make it. So.
Okay, so delete his name.
What?
They wanted to be able to substitute
Okay,
someone.
so we will have a body there?
We're hoping to, yes.
Okay.
Ms. or Mr. X.
Okay, so,
Thank you.
okay, so did I hear a motion?
Yes, you did.
You? Motion?
I did.
Okay, Ms. Aguilar, motion. Who second?
We have to change the motion then.
No, we're just gonna go ahead and understand that there's gonna be another body going.
That's what I'm doing. We just change the motion to exclude his name and then
Another
to
body,
put other body.
Jaime Santos, Mike McFadden, Hortensia Armendariz, and Eugenia Diaz to attend the Mastering and Suspension Expulsion
moved.
Process training.
Second.
Seconded. Motion made by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion? Hearing none.
So Mr. Moreno cannot be able to make it. So we are supposed to put the other person instead of that. So we have to.
That's the motion. Another
That's the motion?
person, and
Another
then
person?
I read the rest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So call for the question. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 5-0.
5-0. Everybody voted? Okay. Motion passes 5-0. I didn't hear the last one. Reject claim for damages against CUSD filed by Nelida Rubio in the amount of $214.90 and refer to the district insurance carrier.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion? Hearing none.
Sorry, Madam President.
Yes.
This came from my office. It's my understanding, and I wasn't aware prior to this being on the agenda, but it's my understanding for claims, or it's been past practice or even board policy, that if it's under $500 and it can be settled for under $500, the district will accept the claim versus sending it to our insurance company, because it costs us a lot of money to go through the process. It's just, in this particular claim, it's just for the deductible for if my memory serves me correctly, or the windshield replacement. There is no other claim outside of just that damage that was done on the car.
Okay.
If you would prefer that either we vote to approve to reimburse this person and or table it for a further board meeting once I can have an opportunity to find out what the past practice is or the board policy on claims under $500, then I would suggest either us having the claimant sign off that with no further recourse that we're going to reimburse the $214 and or give the board information as to what the past practice is before we refer it to our insurance company, which costs us a lot of money to do it. This claim is $214. By the time it's done, it might cost us $2,500 by the manpower, the man hours that the insurance company will place to research this claim. So
I amend the motion to table.
I'll withdraw the motion and motion to table.
okay, thank you, board.
I withdraw my second also.
Thank you.
amend the motion to table it.
Second.
I already made it.
Oh,
You can
Okay,
second
I already did it.
Okay.
You can second it.
You want to second it?
So Ms. Aguilar makes the motion to table. Mr. Kim seconds.
No, ask
I'll-
him if he seconds. He hasn't
Oh.
stated that.
I didn't second. I amend the motion.
No, I withdrew.
She had
I
already
made the
said-
motion. I'm
made
the
a
one that
motion to
withdrew it,
table.
and then
Okay,
I made
Okay,
it.
That's fine, I'll
whatever is
second
okay.
it.
But
I'll second it.
before you to withdraw, I amend the
Ms.
motion.
Rojo,
That's
do you
fine.
want one? Okay, all in favor of the motion to table the item?
Do we have a second?
Yes, I did. I second it.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
Okay, so I have a motion by Ms. Aguilar, seconded by Mr. Valenzuela. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
To table? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Speak into your mics, please. I can't hear. Resolution supporting the application for eligibility determination and funding for the school state facility programs, sub 50-03 and 50-04 forms.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
I have a motion by Mr. Valenzuela, seconded by Ms. Aguilar. Discussion?
No.
Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Duarte, yes. Ms. Aguilar?
Aye.
Mr. Kim?
Aye.
Mrs. Romo?
Yes.
Mr. Valenzuela?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Or passes unanimous. Resolution designating persons to sign school orders as submitted.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Valenzuela, seconded by Ms. Aguilar. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Duarte, yes. Ms. Aguilar?
Aye.
Mr. Kim?
Aye.
Ms. Romo?
Yes.
Mr. Valenzuela?
Yes.
Yes.
Madam President, I noticed my title is incorrect, so you can amend it to reflect the correct title. And my legal name has a middle initial, but the title in itself is incorrect. I'm classified personnel director.
Oh, okay.
Change that.
Okay.
So you can approve it, but
With the changes. Okay.
Okay.
So moved as amended.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the amendment?
Aye. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Aye.
motion passes 5-0.
Excuse me, Madam President.
Yes.
Didn't roll call vote?
Oh, well,
Yes,
we
yeah.
have to redo the roll call again?
Yes.
Again.
Okay. Roll call vote for the amendment. President Duarte, yes. Ms. Aguilar?
Aye.
Mr. Kim?
Aye.
Mrs. Romo?
Yes.
Mr. Valenzuela?
Yes.
Okay, amendment passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Do we have discussion district presentations? Somebody's? We don't have anybody?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't have a name, so. Ms. Armendaris?
Thank you.
Good evening, 9:35. I will keep it as short as you want me to keep it. I sent you about 14.
So moved.
I know. Thank you, John. Now you are going on Thursday or Friday or whenever we're going.
Ándale, toma.
I sent you about 14 documents on attendance, suspensions, expulsions, and some interventions that we are implementing so we can increase student attendance. I'm going to start with this legal size document first. You know what? I know, Eddie, I think that was that's number 2.
Oh, here. Here. Sorry.
What I did here on this document, you see every school site, and then on this document, I have 3 years of ADA percentages per school. You'll see 2009, 2010, 2011, and we're comparing each school, not just each school year by year. And then I compare month by month for every school. Month 1 of 2010, month 1 of 2011, month 1 of 2012. The dates that you see in parentheses, we have 11s. Our attendance is divided in 11 months. Like you'll see that month 1 for 2010 is from August 16th to September 10th. And then in 2011 was August 15th to September 9th, and this year was it says August 13th to September 7th. You'll see how powerful this is of what we've been trying to do to increase attendance. If we compare just the first month from the last 3 years, you'll see that in 2010 we have 96% attendance. In 2011 we had 97% attendance, and this school year, and I'm looking at Blanche Charles, we have 98%. Go down to Enrique Camarena. They had 99% attendance this school year, just the first month, and Willie Moreno had 99. But all our school sites had 98 or 99. So through this document, you will see month through month for 2 years. 2 years, okay? Then now if you go on to the second page, this first page, same information only on one sheet. I have the comparisons of attendance for 3 years for every school and comparing again the first month. The second page that you have, and I did back to back, the second page you had already received this one also. This is last year's attendance, and I went ahead and I divided it by every single reason why students are absent, or even makeups, excused absences, immunization, personal reasons, questionable, suspensions, truancy, unexcused, unverified, even if they have independent studies or in-house suspension. The next, and you also have those, I emailed those, so if you want to take time and read it later on your computer. The next page, this page is a letter from the district attorney, and this letter went out at the beginning of the school year to every single student. District attorney, the county district attorney, Imperial County district attorney, notifying parents, and this one's in Spanish and English, notifying parents of what the law is and what's expected. The letter after that one, this other one is something new that we're going to try this school year. This is a warning letter, and this letter comes directly from the district attorney's office. We provide them with the name of the student, parents, address, and they're going to send out this letter notifying that that these parents are being warned that they need to send their student to school every day and on time. If not, there's going to be consequences. Any questions so far, or do you want me to go through the whole packet first? Okay. The next 2 pages are brochures that I want to be able to send out to the printers, or we print them and fold them ourselves to every single student. It talks about what the law is, what the consequences are, what are excused absences, unexcused absences. It talks about what a SARB hearing is, and it also gives a little bit of tips to parents on what they can do to make sure that students are in school every day and on time. After the brochures, we have the guidelines there for Saturday school. Any student that is considered truant, we can mandate them to attend Saturday school. That's 4 hours of instructional time plus time for a snack. And this is mandatory. Excused absences, we can also have them show up to Saturday school, but that's a voluntary basis. So if we have students with excused absences, we can't make them go to Saturday school. But if they have 5 or more unexcused absences, we can. And what's really good about this is then that it's a win-win situation. The student's absence becomes a makeup, which is an excuse. And for this day also, the students received their work that they have missed and receive instruction. And for that day that the students do show up to Saturday school, we also receive ADA. Something new that we started last year on the next page is short-term independent studies. Students who are going to be out a minimum of 5 school days and they notify the school that they are going to be out, then we can put them on a short-term independent studies contract. That means that the teachers provide the work, parents sign a contract, students need to return the work. When the work gets corrected, it's turned into the office, and then the attendance staff will change the absence to independent studies. When the student is out, it's in progress of independent studies. We do not get ADA for that day or for those days, but once the work is made up, then we do receive the ADA. Also a win-win situation because students do receive their work. What are the types of reasons that we allow students to go on short-term independent studies? We've had last year 2 students go to France on a Make-A-Wish Foundation. They traveled to Paris. This year we've had students going to Juarez for their immigration papers, going to Mexico for personal reason. I mean, we even have some students out on head lice, and we put them on short-term independent studies also. After that page, you'll see a copy of the short-term independent studies contract, and then the following pages you'll see site by site. I asked all the administrators to send me some information on what they're doing to improve attendance, and also what kind of incentives they have for their students for being in school every day and on time. All right, Eduardo, you're going as fast as I am. The next one, expulsions. Take a look at that. Expulsions. That one's easy to read. I have expulsions for 4 years in a row. You'll see that in 2008, 2009, as a district, we had 7 expulsions. 2009-10, we had 7. 2010-11, we had 5. 2011-12, we had 6. You know what? For a district so large as ours, that's not a lot of expulsions. Behind that sheet, we have the dropout rates. I want to go over that one because you're going to see that in 2008, 2009, we had to report them by grade level. And then, so we had 16 dropouts, 7th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. 2009, 2010, then we had to start reporting by sites. From now on, all information having to do with suspensions, expulsions, dropout rates, that's going to be in CalPads. And you know what? One thing that we need to tell our students when they're being suspended or expelled, all that information is going up on CalPAD's system. I mean, even their names and all that information of why they were suspended or expelled. Then the next page after that, suspensions. I have 3 years worth of data on suspensions. In 2009-10, we had 916 suspensions, 210, 211, 1,173 suspensions, and last school year we had 789 suspensions. The training that you just approved that not Mr. Moreno will be attending, but Mr. McFadden and the other body and myself, the whole state of California is trying to make sure that as school district, so many students are not being suspended, and that we have other alternatives for them, including in-house suspension. I included that last sheet there, violence and drug rates. It's not so much that this is the percentage of students that have been caught with drugs or violence, but before, I know these are, I know this is before, what we had to do is compile all the suspensions divided by the student population, and that's how we came up with these numbers that we have here. You don't see anything for 11 and 12 because we no longer compile it like this. All the information goes directly to CalPADS. Questions?
Yes. Hortensia, in this reporting, what is the percent of improvement in absences year after year?
You know what? Just
What is the
looking,
first?
I mean, I'm just excited about this first month. If you just see the first month on this long sheet, in 2000,
This is general.
it's improving. Because if you see in the last 2 years, we have never had 98 or 99% of our students attend the first month. And I'm hoping that when we continue to see these month after month, that you're going to see that our attendance is improving.
I don't know, but
In this one, Ms. Prob.
yes, I understand, but it's general. It's for the other.
It's not general, it's by site.
Yes, but it's most important for me is this reporting for all school.
I see what you mean, Mrs. Romo.
93,000 absences by
Attendance is improving,
Yeah, it's
but when
only
you
1
see
year.
this,
Uh-huh.
that's still a lot of absences. And we're working on that. This is still a lot of absences. But as you see that month by month, our attendance is improving. Parents already know what the importance is of being in school every day and on time. Students already know. Staff, I mean, the administrators, the attendance clerks, the teachers. I mean, everybody is really doing a good job about making sure to put attendance as a priority, because if students are not in school, how do we expect them to learn?
But it's very important, Mrs. Hortensia. Do we need help?
Of course. I mean, if you were to tell me, can I hire somebody right now? I would say yes, right away, a truancy officer. I mean, yes. I mean, I would tell you, yeah, let's hire more counselors. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's my opinion too. And I remember when the board members, when the Mr. Eric Hall, you remember? Very expensive, okay, recommended that we take care of these problems immediately, and we still have not. It's very important, pay attention in this problem. Okay, it's my recommendation. Hortensia needed counselors, needed more other person, other counselor, I don't know, but it's very, very, very important. Maybe counselor special, I don't know, but you need other person when support, but basically in this problem.
with attendance, yes.
Ms. Aguilar, I think you had a question.
I finished, Eddie, okay, so that bell is not for me, okay?
Out of these total absences, how much ADA was recovered?
ADA is recovered, okay. Well, first of all, ADA, we only receive ADA for students that are in school, attending Saturday school, or short-term independent studies.
Okay. How much of the ADA was recovered for Saturday schools?
And you know what? And I do have that, and I don't have it here, but I do have it because I do have. Oh wait, no, it's the makeups. It's the makeups.
Yeah.
Okay, go to the makeups.
Mhm.
Look at that. 6,079 days we recovered. We haven't done enough, but we've come a long, long way. I'm pretty sure that this number is going to. I'm hoping to double by this school year when we start our Saturday schools ASAP, and not wait until the middle of the school year.
So now, are these days or are these?
These are days.
Children.
These are
Or
students. Well, these are students.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so 6,079
students made.
students.
But it could be the same student. So I'm just going to say these are 6,079 makeup days. And I could have gone to Saturday school 5 times. You could have gone 1 time. But these are actual makeup days. So this is the amount of ADA that we did recuperate. And see, it's not only the ADA, it's also that the students recuperated their work
Their
and time.
education, yeah.
So it's makeup and the short-term independent studies, 1,535, because you know that parents are going to leave no matter if we say, hey, we're going to mark you unexcused. But if we give them short-term independent studies contract, they go with their work, and when they come back, we mark them as independent studies completed, and we receive the ADA, so an additional 1,500. We had never done that, and we started that last year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let me just give you to kind of quantify that for you. With this, it's not 6,000, ADA. What
No, I
kind of
understand.
averages to is about $176,000 in made-up revenue.
Okay.
Because those kids came back for Saturday school. And how I get that number is if you roughly get for every day that you come to school, you get about $29 a day. So I can take that 6,000 of made-up days and multiply that by about $29, so it's a little over $175,000 that we were able to recoup because our kids came to Saturday school and we had them make up the attendance.
Okay.
And how about for the short-term independent study? So we multiply that 1,535 times 29 also. So that's a lot of money that.
Yeah, but and I don't know. My opinion, Saturday makeup. They are not solving the problems, and my preoccupation is if students are not in school, they will not do well on any test.
That's right, because a bake-up or a short-term independent studies does not compare to going to school every day and on time and having direct instruction by their teacher. That's not going to compare.
Yeah.
It's very problem.
Are these the Imperial Countywide Truancy Program? Are these on our websites already by
But
school
it
or
can be
something?
by tomorrow.
Okay, let's
Right,
get them on
Eddie?
there.
You have them there so they can go on the
Let's
website.
get them on each school site and on the
And you know what?
regular
And
website.
this one, it says Imperial Countywide. We actually worked on it. I mean, from Brawley to Calexico to Holtville to Westmoreland, we all worked on this brochure.
Okay. I also had another question in regards to the charts in the back,
Mm-hmm.
the dropouts.
Mm-hmm.
What part does the counselor take place on this? Before the child decides to drop out of class, does this child connect with the counselor before that?
I mean, I'm going to tell you that
With
I
special ed, well, I don't know if with special ed or counselor or psychologist or.
I'm going to
something.
say that I hope so, that I expect, that's what I expect. But reality is that families leave, and our dropouts don't include. We do not mark a student as a dropout if the parent notifies us that they're going to Mexico. They're transferring
Yeah,
out
that's
to
not a
another school.
dropout.
No, but we have a lot of students leaving to Mexicali. This is a student that just no longer returns to school.
Correct.
And what we do as a district is that we send out letters, make phone calls of, you know what, the CUM hasn't been asked for, where is your child? Sometimes we no longer have phones, no longer have, an address of where to go find the student. And this is still a lot. 59, it's a really, really low number compared to California, but to me, 59 is too many.
No, 59 for Calexico
Yes,
is a lot.
it's too many. You give me one that one drops out,
33
it's
in
too
the high
many.
school. And I want to know what type of interaction the counselors are having with all of our students. Yes, we do have a need for more counselors at the high school and at Aurora.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But we can speak of what we need, but if we have shown here that in the past our students are dropping out, I would like to know what kind of contact they have had before they got to the point where they say, I'm not going to school anymore. How did they get there?
And I can find out. I will contact the two junior highs, the high school, and Aurora, so they can give me a little bit of more information about this. One student is too much. If we lose one student, that's too much.
Yeah, I saw him. Mr. Moreno?
Yeah, I think the reason that the numbers for Aurora went up is a lot of the community school kids were transferred over for last school year for 11-12. And they had a hard time keeping them in school. We went intervention, SARBs, we tried to do the best we could. But they weren't used to the freedom, I guess, that they were used to at the community school. That may be one of the reasons, because I recall Superintendent Fergali had brought over all the community school kids back, well, a big number. And so I think that is why the numbers went up, because some of those kids, I can tell for one that some of those kids that were at my site didn't come to school. And we went looking for them, and we tried to bring them in, had parent conferences, had all kinds of interventions, but to no avail. So that may be a reason why those numbers went up.
And you know what? Something different that happened last year is that when we do transfer a student out, let's say to the community school, and the student does drop out at community school, it still shows as our dropout. It's our student.
Well, I have a question in terms of that. We were already at a high ratio of students to counselors prior to layoffs, and now with the layoffs, it was like that. It's obscene. What are we doing to address and supplement those needs, particularly in students that are A through G ready? I mean, I'm talking, we need to address the needs of all the students, but it's crucial with coming up with the application process being opened up for students applying to university. Do we have a plan in place?
You know what? With what we lost, I mean, we don't have anybody doing with what we lost in counselors. I mean, what do we have? 3 counselors at the high school. Something positive, but doesn't have to do with the academics, but it will impact academics. Imperial County Behavioral Health Services has hired 2 counselors for drug and alcohol that will be going to the sites and teaching the Too Good for Drugs at every school site. The first one that they're going to start right now is at one of our elementaries, but I just need to meet with all the administrators where those 2 counselors are going to be. I mean, hours for Calexico for the rest of the school year, but we have 2, but it's divided in El Centro, so that's a positive. But, I mean, I really don't have a good answer. I mean, I can go back to the schools and ask them exactly what is it that you're doing to make sure that the students are going to graduate, get their A through Gs. What kind of communication are they having with the existing counselors that they have right now?
If I may make a suggestion, is that I did address that issue because during the summer with Dr. Facali, and because I did make contact with some of the college going initiative groups. CalSOP is very interested in working with Calexico Unified. They can provide. They have staffing that talks with students. They can talk with students during lunchtime and after school, in terms of at least providing assistance in the application process and something like that. If you want to later on, I can. After the meeting, I can give you some more contact information.
Sure, have them contact me, and then, I mean, Ms. Zambrisa and I can meet with them, of course. Any extra help is, for sure, we're not going to close our doors on anyone.
Yeah.
Excuse me, board members, we need to have an extension on the meeting.
Motion to extend the meeting by 1 hour.
Okay, I have a motion to extend the meeting by 1 hour. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Valenzuela makes the motion. Mr. Kim seconds. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1. Continue.
Okay, someone else.
Okay.
Question, Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Wait, I wasn't done yet. I still
Okay.
had another question. In terms of on the last page, which lists violence and drug rates, we have main school at 14%.
And like I said, that these rates are compiled on all the suspensions divided by whatever we reported in the October CBIDs.
Okay.
What kind of drugs are you finding?
No. That's how they labeled it before. I mean, it's not like the main students are bringing in drugs, so it's any violence and drug.
Oh,
so they're compiling all kinds of suspensions into one. But like I said, for this school year, you don't see it there because for CalPAS, it's different on how we're reporting suspensions, expulsions, and.
Okay, so what type of interventions or what type of what kind of remedial actions are we taking to bring down those percentages?
Which all suspensions?
Well, it says violence and drug rates.
Drugs.
Okay, at the schools, what we're doing is, besides the Too Good for Drugs, another one that I'm hoping to start is the Too Good for Violence, also, which is another subgroup of the Too Good for Drugs. I want to take advantage of these 2 counselors from behavioral health that will come in and do this free for us. Schools are also really concentrating on the bullying at schools, because if kids are being bullied, they're not going to want to be coming to school. So that is something different that we're trying to do. And if you have a chance to read all the notes that the school sent, and those are all the interventions that they're trying at each of their sites.
Additionally, whenever an elementary school student gets suspended for some form of violence, whether it's hitting or anything to that nature, we usually do make a referral to Mrs. Armendari so she can dialogue with the student and the parent to see if there are any other anger issues that may need to be addressed. And one of the things that we facilitated through the Educational Services Office this year was a lot of one-on-one parent conferences with students who had repeated offenses at the elementary level, so that we could hopefully avoid further suspensions. And it helped with many or most of our students that were in that predicament.
Thank you. We're really lucky of having behavioral health services, a full clinic there at the FRC. Thank you.
Well,
Okay. The dropouts, we have increased to 59 this year. Last year. Every year it's been increasing. And you, Mr. Almendaris, you mentioning the people, actually we have more dropout than 59 because they're going back to Mexico. So mostly they're not. Most of the cases, they're not going back to the school.
I'm hoping they're going back to school. They say they leave to Mexicali. I don't know if they leave to Mexicali. I don't know if they go to school. But you know what? The majority of the students that do leave to Mexicali are the little ones, are the elementary age.
Elementary ages, not the high school ages.
No, I'm going to say that some of them do, but I'm thinking that most of them, I think that the older ones will make sure to tell the parents, hey, I still want to stay here in school. But I'm pretty sure there's still a lot that go to Mexicali. The reason that you see the dropout higher is, like I said, that now when a student is transferred, for example, if we sent them out in the past to community school and they dropped out, the rate stayed at the community school. But now, if we send them to the community school and they drop out at the community school, the rates are still ours.
But what I know, that some cases, some high school kid, the parents move back to Mexico, or single mothers to move back to Mexico because they get married with some man in Mexico or whatever, and they are almost like staying as a homeless. Yeah. And I believe our FRC to maybe they can help those kids to be staying in the school instead of drop out to go to Mexico. Mexico side, they have 1,000 pesos, at least more than 1,000 pesos every month they have to pay. Some parents, they economic region to move back to Mexico, I don't know, they're going to have to chance to pay over 1,000 pesos every month. And they're not going back. So if we can use I believe the foster care programs to make sure they stay in the United States to finish their school.
And you know what, and all the foster students and all the homeless students, we will provide so much help for them.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Another thing that is maybe a plus, hopefully, for this year is that the community school through Imperial County Alternative Education, they are now offering a high school diploma as part of their completion, which before was not happening. They are now an accredited school, therefore their diploma through community school would be valid. So a lot of kids who could have returned to us and find themselves like fish out of water back at our school systems, generally would probably just stop coming to school. But now that they feel that there's an option for them to graduate through community school, a lot of the kids, not a lot, but a number of the kids may opt to graduate through community school, which is a much more smaller controlled setting for them, and they need that additional supervision. And so because they'll be graduating and not dropping, they will reflect in our numbers.
Thank you for that, Mrs. Ambris, and that's true because maybe some of these students just said, why do I continue to go to community school? They're not going to give me a high school diploma anyways, but now that they've been accredited, then yes.
That's good.
Okay. And the other my concern is the drug rating very fast growing.
Violence and that
It's combined.
on that one, on that last
Yeah,
page,
violence and drug
Mr.
rates,
Kim,
yes.
that one looks like a scary page,
Mhm.
but that's all, before the state, that's how we used to report it, is all the suspensions, including fighting with drugs, it's all on that same page. But from now on, through CalPads, this is not the reporting system anymore.
Yeah, still keep growing the numbers. Do we have some kind of like a prevention program for that?
For drugs?
Yeah, drugs. And
Yes. And you know what? It's just where we live. The too good for drugs being taught at all the schools at all the grade levels. Also, we have counselors in addition to the ones that I talked about at Aurora, at the high school, at Enrique. Willie Moreno still being approved, and Aurora, where there is a counselor that meets with students and for substance abuse counseling.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I need a solution, two solution, or whatever. I don't know what is the reasons, maybe 4, maybe 5. The community needs more support of Calexico Unified School District. All students are very important for Calexico Unified School District. Living in Mexicali, living in Calexico, forget it. We need more counselor or more special F counselor. I don't know, with a specific training for Calexico Unified School District. For, in conclusion, Hortensia needed more support for this problem. This is my opinion. I need board members take one solution immediately.
Ms. Romo, we not providing enough the teachers. Then we have a lot of issues in the academic achievements. Now we supposed to address to the more teachers to be in the classroom.
Yeah, I need teacher, I need counselors.
Point of order, this is not on the agenda.
This is a district-wide problem, and with 1, 2, or 3 people.
And Mrs. Romo, before we implement a plan, a position, we need a plan for the position, and we've been
And before we
talking,
get the plan, we gotta find the money.
Well, we've been talking
Categorical funds?
to
How many
ACT and saying in November, one more month in November.
Okay, how many psicólogos today have for Calexico, for all Calexico? How many psicólogos, Mr. McFadden?
We already had that question.
How many teachers for special ed? For only 3 or 4 students? Come on.
And you can't compare them, Mrs.
This is for categorical funds.
Okay.
Okay? Please read the education code for the counselors, special counselor for special F. Please, McFadden.
Okay. And we will continue this conversation
Thank you.
after
It
November.
went 40 minutes.
But
Thank you. It's an important topic. Thank you so much.
We will now be going back to closed session. We had some items pending, and we will return before 11 o'clock.
A ver si es cierto.
Convening from closed session at 11:05. No, we have to do it out here. We had one item in closed session, and that is a proposal given by the interim superintendent, Maria Ambriz, to the board in respects to her salary. And Ms. Maria Ambriz gave a proposal. The board has denied the proposal at this time, and the board at this time countered with an increase of 10%, bringing back a counter proposal in the November meeting, the first meeting of November, which will be November 8th. November the 8th, for a counter. And at this point, board members, do I hear a motion to increase Ms. Ambriza's salary at this time to 10% till the next board meeting, November the 10th? Oh, I'm sorry, November the 8th. Do I hear a motion?
What motion? I have a motion to approve
To approve the 10%?
the 10%.
Okay. I have a motion by Ms. Romo. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Hear a second by Mr. Valenzuela. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No.
Mr. Kim?
No.
Aye. Motion passes 3-2. And at this point, we have extended we are past our 11 o'clock. We will do without the board members' comments, and we will now adjourn. Thank you.